Hey, so good evening, everyone, and welcome to Ladies' Night, Thursday night here on FaceTime with Todd Wharton. I'm your host, as always, Todd Wharton. I'm glad to be here tonight. I'm glad I got here safe because it's kind of pouring outside. So yeah, I got a little soaked today, and we're going to talk about that in a bit. So let's talk about the first thing. As always, got to give it up to my supporter. This Believe in You. And again, Believe in You is owned and operated by Colette V. Smith. Colette V. Smith is the first African American female NFL football coach for the New York Jets. She recently left the New York Jets to inspire others around the world, especially women in sports. So definitely check out my girl Colette V. Smith on Believe in You. You can go to the website at believein.you.com, and her motto is anything is possible if you believe in you. So that's Colette V. Smith of the New York Jets. Okay, let's get to a few things that I want to definitely talk about. Reality check, the segment I always do. Guys, stop exaggerating about your relationship with celebrities. Like, I don't know what the deal is with people. If you take a picture with a celebrity, it doesn't mean you know. Right? When you post it online, say you met them. Don't say, yo, I was having lunch with blah, blah, blah. And that happens a lot when celebrities die, which I don't understand that as well. Right? If you're in a club with a celebrity, doesn't mean you're hanging out with the celebrity. It just means you happen to be in the same club. Right? Just be real. Like, for example, I posted about DMX. Yeah, I do know DMX, or I did know DMX. He's a great guy, but I can't call him up when he was alive and get a beer. We didn't have that type of relationship. The relationship we had was when we saw each other at an event, it was nothing but love. And I was introduced to him by my boy Big Joe New Life. That's all our relationship was. I couldn't call him up, hang out, this and that, because that's not where I'm at in relationships with some of these celebrities. But a lot of them I can call. But all I'm telling you guys is just keep it real. Like, you get a lot more respect if you just tell the truth online, because believe me, I said it yesterday, it's easier to remember truth than remember a lie. Let's talk about something that happened today. Do yourself a favor when it's pouring outside. Make sure you know where you're standing, because I was standing on the corner waiting for the light to change. And of course, I didn't realize I'm in front of a puddle, and there are people out there that just like to ride into the puddles and soak the heck out of me. So I got a little wet, so I had to dry myself off. Italian style, how to do the little dryer thing, but I'm good to go. I've had a couple of people also ask me about the promos. They were curious about them. So I'll give you a little background about the promos. The promos, I write most of them myself, and then I also talk to my brother Keith, who's a comedy sketch writer, and we always, we talk about ideas and stuff like that. The promos take about 5 hours to make. Figure a storyboard. I probably do about 40 shoots, 50 shoots myself, and then, it becomes the editing process. And then people always ask me about my weight and look, and honestly, I'm in very good shape, but when I do these characters, I put on pounds for that, meaning I'll wrap myself in stuff, I'll put on bigger clothes, I'll take makeup to make myself look a little crazy. I take my time, because when it comes to this talk show, it's about entertaining people, right? I'm all about having fun. So I need to get into character to make the promo real. And we take our time with every promo, and we hope you guys enjoy them a lot. All right. Now, speaking of bookings, if you're a celebrity or you're an agent or a manager like to book your celebrity on the show from all industries, please go to bookings at FaceTimeWithToddWharton.com. We interview celebrities 5 days a week, just like I had John Amos last night. Amazing, amazing, amazing interview. And I have a lot more to come as well, because the final week that we have in season 1, April 30th, that's the final week. I already booked the Village People, Felipe Rose. We got Play from Kid and Play, and I have a number of other people are going to be coming in. So the show's getting much bigger, and we have season 2's already being booked, so we're excited about that. Speaking of being excited right now, I want to bring on an amazing lady, because it is ladies' night, and she is a legend, so I'm excited to bring her in, and I'm going to grab her right now. Well, not literally, but I'm going to bring her in here, and with this icon, and I'm really looking forward to it. So guys, without further ado, I want to welcome R&B songstress, vocalist, and the lead singer of the Jones Girls.
Hello.
Jones. How are you, Miss? How you doing?
I'm doing great down here in Florida, actually, on a little vacay.
Florida.
Yes,
You know,
Daytona Beach, actually.
my man Lawrence Taylor is down in Florida. Tell him I
All
said what's up
right.
if you see him. Yeah. Yeah, Daytona Beach. I'm jealous right now. You know that, right? Because
I
I need
know,
some
it
color.
was impromptu, but we just decided to get away for a couple of days. So, but I knew I had to do this interview with you. So, hey, here I am.
Well, I thank you. First of all, thank you, Shirley, for being on FaceTime with Todd Wharton. I appreciate you for taking your time out of your day and being here. Um, Spoke to your son, great guy. We're
Yes.
obviously going to bring him on in a little while as well. If he's on, everybody make sure you update your Instagram app so I can bring on your son, and
Yes.
we'll do that as well. And I also want to give it up to Ron Richardson, who was the original point of putting us together. I
Okay,
like to
Ron,
give
my friend. Yes.
That's right. I like to give props to people that uh, do something nice. And I do that with managers, publicists, agents, because these people don't get recognized as much as they should. And when they do a nice thing, because when I spoke to him, because I did Melba Moore, and Melba was so sweet. I love Melba
Oh,
Moore.
that's my girl.
She's,
Yes.
she's so adorable. I
Yes,
had
she
so much fun.
is.
Yeah, when this show gets bigger, because we're getting looked at right now, people just love the show. I definitely want to bring it back on because it's the energy about like just like you, it's your energy that makes me want to do this show forever. And I got to give it up to Ron. He's a really good dude, and I
Ron's
appreciate
my
you.
guy. Yes. He and Melba,
That's
two of
right.
my favorite people. Yes.
That's right. That's right. And you got to understand too. It's even though I'm being professional, I'm a talk show host. It's such an honor when you're a fan of people to be able to one day interview them. I don't think a lot of people that are talk shows or trying to be talk shows actually realize the honor that you have when you get to be in my position. So thank you again for
Oh,
taking the time out.
hey,
But
you're very
I don't
welcome.
like you because you're in Daytona getting a tan, and I appreciate that. I got no invite. I'm gonna call, you know what? I'm talking to your son later. I'll be like, yo, what's up with moms,
Yeah,
man? No invite to
no.
Florida?
I kept it even from him. I just needed to get away for a couple of days. So get away from
Couple of
Atlanta and get
days.
to the water.
Oh my God, you got to stay there for a couple of weeks. That's what you need to do right now.
I will soon in the summer. Yes, don't worry.
Oh yeah, everybody's away. You're in Florida. John Amos last night interviewed from Jamaica. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I'm like, this is messed up. I wish I had my ocean. I'd play it again for you. But let's talk about a lot. Let's chop it up right now. First of all, congratulations on a very, successful career. Three sisters,
Yes.
which have became great R&B and soul singers throughout the decades. And you don't really hear a lot about families that are actually together, right? That actually have built a bond that created a group. I mean, you can name so much, like, the Jacksons, you got Soul for Real, obviously the
Right.
Jones sisters. And there are a lot, but it's not a lot if you really think about
Not a
it.
lot. The
Yeah.
Emotion, Sister Sledge, some, yeah, but it's not a lot compared to just groups that have grown up together or put together by other people.
Right, which I totally agree with. Now, you guys are from originally Detroit, Michigan, correct? Home of
Yes,
Eminem. All right.
exactly. Detroit, Motown.
Detroit, Tire Town, man. So we all know the Eminem story. So why don't you take us? We're going to do, I always tell people, we'll do back and forth, up and down, make it interesting. So why don't you tell us about your early childhood, about what the influence were behind your music and what brought you to that point to become a group of the Jones Girls?
Well, the biggest influence was our mother. My mother, our mother was the first Black gospel singer to sign to RCA Records
Oh,
many
wow.
many years ago. In fact, they signed my mother to their gospel label the exact same day they signed Little Richard back in the day, not before
Wow.
I was born. And she was the biggest and greatest influence. She was a superior gospel singer that knew voices. And once she realized that she had three singers, uh, at just say I was maybe 7 or 8, I'm
Mhm.
being the oldest. she started teaching us how to harmonize and how to blend our voices together. And that's
Hmm.
where you get that unique Jones Girls harmony.
Nice, nice. So gospel music. You know what's great? I hear a lot of gospel music in older R&B. You don't hear a lot of gospel today.
No,
Um,
you don't. You really
I don't
don't.
think I don't think most of the R&B today you can actually play in church anymore because there would have to be a rating on it
Right.
if anything. Like
Right.
seriously, like, hey, if
Exactly.
you're gonna come into St. Baptist Church,
Right.
make sure you kids are 18 and older.
And older, right?
You'd
Yes.
be like, hallelujah, and then
Yeah.
you start crunking on the floor. It's just
Right.
I, I can't even see it anymore. But I mean, there are some good R&B out there. Like, Her is a great R&B artist in The Weekend, and there are a few others. Musique Soulchild, which I love to
Yes.
death. Yeah, which is awesome. And that's great, man, going into gospel. You know what's funny? When speaking to even Andy Jones, it seems some of the greatest R&B singers started out with gospel in their blood.
Oh yeah.
Um,
The church is it. And back in the day, the church was it. We would be at concerts with gospel singers, greats like the Winans and the Clark sisters, because they were, all from Detroit. So
mhm.
the roots were set in gospel music back in the day.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Now, when you guys started to perform, you got signed to GM Records in 1970, where your group was established at, and that's when you guys came out with the first hit. You're gonna make me love somebody else, right?
Well,
Now,
that was in 1979 when we were with Philadelphia International
okay,
after
all right.
after 3 years of doing background with Diana Ross.
I was about to mention that. See, we flowing right now. You're on the same page with me. So that's the
Yes.
question I want to ask. Let's cut the rumors right now. How was it really collaborating with Miss Diana Ross? Because there's two sides to a Diana Ross story. But as a
Well,
personal side, how was she working with?
Diana was absolutely perfect and wonderful to work with. If it had not been for Diana extending herself and the audience that she had, there never probably, I don't know, it may have taken us longer if we ever became the Jones Girls at all, because after our very first tour with her, which was in Europe,
Mhm.
she came to us and said we were getting ready to do a residency in Vegas at Caesar's Palace. And she came to us and said, you guys were so fantastic in Europe that I want to give you your own spot in
Right.
my show, which she did. She said, I'm going to introduce you to the world. So we chose a song by Quincy Jones, If I Ever Lose This Heaven, and we
Nice.
started performing it. When she went to do one of her many costume changes, she would call us and we would do our song. And that's how we met Gamble and Huff. They happened to be in the audience along with Patti LaBelle many, many years ago at the Schubert Theater in Philadelphia on her United States tour. And that's how we got with them. And the only thing I can say about the rumors of how she was hard to work with, back in the day, Diana was the Michael Jackson of that particular era. She was
Oh yeah.
the hottest singer in the entire world. She happened to
Right.
be a female. And if she had been a man that required everybody around her to be at the top of their game, they would have said, oh, he's just a strong leader. He's a strong man. But because she was a woman and she demanded that perfection from anyone that worked with her, which you cannot blame her,
Hmm.
she got the title of being difficult to work with.
Okay. And I'm glad you said that because
To
when you
show you
get
the
to know me.
differences between how people look at men at the top of their game and women at the top of their game.
That's
So,
right. And I 100% agree with you. And when you get to know me, I ask these questions because the reason why I have a lot of friends in this industry of all industries is, I want to hear from the people that work with her, that know her. And you can hear all the rumors you want when it comes to the media, because I always say that drama, unfortunately, is what media looks for. And I just want the truth. right? Because
Right.
I'm a fan of Diana Ross,
Oh
right?
man, she was
And
beautiful to
always have
work
been.
with, and she looked out for my sisters and I. We were. It was only the four of us and her personal assistant that was out on the road for our first time in Europe, leaving the United States. She looked after us like we were her daughters, and we became very, very close. And she was the ultimate person to work for and to work with.
Mhm. Well, let's talk about a couple of these songs. Well, "Make Me Love You Somebody Else," right?
Hmm.
Hit the Billboard magazine top 40, which is awesome, right? That's just crazy. I always tell people when you hit top 40, it's not just top 40 at their list, right? It's the top
Right,
40 song in the country.
right.
And people forget, like, you're talking about billions of artists, you know? And
Yeah.
your song, I mean, that must be like one of those that thing you do moments when you hear your song on the radio. And what was the feeling when you heard your first song, right? Whether you were driving, do you remember that moment where you heard your first song like on the radio? What happened with you and your sisters? Did you guys just go absolutely crazy?
Absolutely, we did. We were on a promotional tour and we heard it and we were like so excited, mainly because at that time, disco, which was like a quicker beat in music,
Yeah.
disco music was becoming very popular. And you're going to make me love somebody else cut through all of that to, to get into the top 40. So we were not only surprised, we were amazed. And the first time hearing it on the radio, we were in Philadelphia and we were just so excited to actually hear the work that we had just put in being
Right.
played, and then for it to become more and more popular and we started hearing it all the time. It was absolutely amazing.
I love hearing that. And the guys tuning in, I'm speaking with Shirley Jones of the legendary Jones Girls. Make sure you follow her on Instagram at Shirley Jones Official. And you can follow me, Todd Wharton Official. We interview celebrities 5 days a week from all industries. So to get to a song that I was speaking with Felipe Rose last night from the Village People, he says his favorite song is Nights in Egypt.
Nice over
Um,
Egypt, yes.
Nights Over Egypt.
Yeah.
So tell me about that song, because I'll be honest with you, I haven't heard that song in a long time, and when I
Yeah.
researched, I wanted to listen to your music. It's a very relaxing type of song where it's one of those songs where it makes the sunset just great if you're listening to it.
You
Um,
it just takes you to a place of just peace and love. And that song was actually released as a third single from the third album of the Jonas
right.
Girls. And for it to be now 40 something years later, when you have people like Anderson Paak, that's one of his favorite songs, and so many others that from this young upcoming generation of people, it just makes me feel so good because when we did that song, none of us, we did not, except for Valerie, my youngest sister, uh,
Right.
we did not hear that as a single for us at all because we felt that it was too jazz, that it was so, and it wasn't in the vein of strict R&B that we were used to singing. But once we recorded it, because we tried something different on that. We wanted the lead voices to be the unison and the harmonies. If you notice that's one Jones Girl song where I'm not singing lead. There's no lead at all. The
Right.
unison and the harmonies are the lead vocal. And with the instrumentation, it is just so beautiful. Like on a night like now while I'm looking here at the Atlantic Ocean, people tell me all the time when they're driving or when they're at the beach, that's the perfect song because it's tranquil and it's just
Hmm.
so peaceful and beautiful it just takes you away to a better space.
Yeah, and I have to 100% agree because when I was listening to it, I was actually doing your promo when I was
Okay.
listening to it. Yeah, and first of all, I hope you like the promo. We try to make it as comedic as possible.
Yes.
Um,
I did,
yeah,
thank you.
it was kind of whenever I work with R&B people as guests, romance always comes to my head. So I just wanna I created a family called the Wookiees, that I used in another promo with Stanley Livingston from My Three Sons, and people just loved it. So I'm like, you know what? It's about time I bring him back, and I'm going to do it on Shirley.
Okay.
So it
Yeah,
was good. It was
it was
good.
good.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with that. Now, if people don't know, besides Diana Ross, you ladies, I mean, your career is crazy. Lou Rawls, Teddy Pendergrass, and Aretha Franklin. You got to
Yes,
be backup singers for them. You know what's crazy about being backup singers for these legends? You're legends as well. And when legends are backup singers for legends, those same people could be backup singers for you. And that's
exactly.
crazy. That
Yeah.
is crazy.
And
So,
we did background work for so many. Well, I mean, in addition to Aretha and Lou Rawls, we did background work for Cher and Helen Reddy. During those periods, back in the day, um, all of a sudden, people wanted our sound. We had moved from Detroit to California, and
yeah,
because of the hard work and the harmonies that the way we blended our voices together, and then being natural sisters, having the same tone and resonance in our voices, that it was the sound that artists from Cher to Teddy Pendergrass wanted on their music, on background, on their music.
yeah, I mean, your voices are beautiful.
Thank you.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. That's one of the hardest things about sounding in a group. You can have three amazing voices, but it doesn't mean they mesh with each other.
Right.
Sometimes you have two tenors, they have to make it equal. So when I hear voices like yours, the Supremes, Allure, SWV, these
Yes.
are groups that women can sing. And I always tell these groups, I'm like, I appreciate you guys because when I'm on dates, I'm gonna slip one of these songs
Yeah.
in there. And the girls get it like,
Romance.
damn, you
Yes.
know the Jones Girls? I'm like, no, this is my jam, girl. I'm like,
Right.
come on. He's like, sing this song. I'm like, listen, I'm not singing nothing. I'm a man voice. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna give you more of like, Luther Vandross and,
Okay.
little Isaac Hayes and,
All
get a
right.
little down.
I'm
So
scared of you. Yeah.
that's right. That's right. That's right. I got some flow. I can sing. A lot of people don't know that. I can throw down a couple of pipes, but Nights Over Egypt, definitely, definitely great. Now let's shoot forward a little and then we'll shoot back. You're working on something new right now, where you just did, you're about to do TV One,
Yes.
right? You do an unsung episode,
Hmm.
which I believe is going to be airing on May
May,
16th.
May 16th. We're the finale episode for this season. Yes.
So have you shot it already,
Oh,
or is it
yes.
being
It's shot
okay?
already. It's
Is there
it's
a
ready
little?
to
Is
go.
there?
It's just ready to premiere on May 16th.
All right. Is there little hints? Anything that we should know that we should
Um,
see about?
well, you're going to be very surprised at the passing of the baton to my son and Valerie's son, uh, who are redoing a lot of our songs hip hop style. So they're featured in the Jones Girls story, and you're going to be amazed at how they came about uh, deciding to do our music, because they both have been in the rap business for at least 10 years.
Mhm.
And we're kind of passing the baton on, or at least I am, to them, and getting the younger generation to become familiar with the Jones Girls and our music.
And I love that. I love that a lot. When I was speaking to Young Dirty Bastard, I asked him about how does it feel to be a son of a legacy, and he's like, honestly, I love it because if you don't honor the legacy that was put forth in front of you, then what are you doing? He's like, I don't even care if my dad was selling shoes. Everybody wears shoes. So if I'm the
Right.
best shoe salesman in the world, so I think it's really cool that your son is taken on in music, but you also supported him because there's a lot of moms out there, even though they went one route, sometimes they don't support their son going the same route. They kind of push him to do something else because you built such a following that it may be hard for him. It's kind of like a Michael Jordan to have this son go into basketball, like the
And
pressure.
exactly. And he and PJ, Valerie's son, they didn't even let me hear the music because they weren't sure I was gonna like it. And then when the first time I heard one of the songs, which the feature song in the Unsung episode, which is a remake of our classic "Who Can I Run To," which Escape redid.
Mhm.
When I heard it, I'm like, you guys have got to put this out. It's amazing. I love the rap, from the beat that PJ created to the lyrics that Cameron wrote. It's phenomenal, and I'm just proud of those two guys. And that's the main feature of the Unsung that I think people are going to really be surprised about,
Okay.
how talented our offspring are.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that. Now, besides Unsung, and I ask a lot of people, I think I asked Melba also, I would love to see, because when the events start happening again, like really happening,
Yes.
events are going to be sold out for the next two
Oh
years
yeah.
because
Yes.
people are just aching. And I'm an event producer. I run one of the biggest events here in New York City for Times Square, which is the Peace Concert.
Okay.
Um, yeah, that's why I do talk show, but I run New York City's Peace Con called Elsa Global. But is there any plans of reuniting some of the great women groups together, like another ladies tour? Not just one or two, but I'm talking about five, six, seven, like maybe with Melba, yourself, even with Sequence and some of the other groups, or even mesh it up where you go by the decades and show, you
Yeah.
know, the transitions of R&B throughout the years. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Oh yeah. There are so many uh, performances in the works. People are constantly contacting me about that. And Melba, myself, Jean Carn, and Melissa Morgan, we all did a 2 week stay in London right before the pandemic hit and shut everything down. That was in October of 2019 that we were all there together. Actually, no, October of 2020. Um,
Mm-hmm.
no, 2019, that's right before the pandemic. So yes, and the we're celebrating the 50-year anniversary of Philly International, the label for the OJs and Lou Rawls and Teddy. And they're talking about doing a tour this fall with myself and Jean Carn and the OJs, the Stylistics, those in celebration of the 50-year anniversary. So it's a lot of things coming. As soon as things can open up, we're ready to go. My band and
Yeah,
I, everybody's ready.
yeah, and I'm sure you have the connect, but if you ever need them, I know Ladies of Sky pretty well. I would love to hook
Oh
you up with
yes,
them.
yes, I've
I
worked with them
mean,
before too, the Ladies of Sky.
yeah, Denise. I actually just spoke to Austin today, so we're gonna bring him on the show. We just gotta figure out a date.
Okay.
Um, well, that's what it's all about. This show is about interviewing A-listers from all decades because I say it all the time. When you're an A-lister, I don't care what decade you're an A-lister. Once an A-lister, always an A-lister,
Yeah.
and you should be looked at that always. That's what this show is all about. There is no B, C, D, E, F, G, H. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's once you are, it's like once you're a lady, always a lady,
Yes.
unless you get crooked, then I
Right.
can't be around you. Can't be doing that. So you mentioned the pandemic. It's a topic I bring up a lot. How has the pandemic affected you personally, um, with your family and your music and everything else? Has it been ups and downs, or has it been not so much a blessing, but in every negative, there's always a way of finding a positive from that. Have you seen that during your career for the last year?
Yeah, it's given me a chance to write some music. In fact, Cam and I are headed into the studio next week, where we're doing music with a really popular singer from London. We co-wrote a song with him that we're finishing up, and then there's another English artist by the name of Yellow Days. I'm on. He's a Sony artist, and I was on his album. It gave me an opportunity to really uh, get into myself and back into my music, because we couldn't go anywhere, but I was back into writing more. So that's the upside, because I was so busy performing that I didn't have the time to really write like I used to. And on every Jones Girls album, I always had at least two songs that I wrote that was on the albums. So I wrote a song, and it's out now streaming, called I Won't Tell. And it's also featured in the Unsung episode. So the upside was it gave me a chance to really get back into the writing side of music.
Oh yeah, of course. You know, it's funny. We all use that phrase. You know, never enough time in a day. Well, you know what? We have pretty much going on about a year and a half because this pandemic. I don't care what people are saying right now. We're going to be wearing masks and still practicing probably through the winter because until
Oh yeah,
85, 90% of the country is
it's
vaccinated
right,
twice, people need to understand that stop acting a fool and still understand at the end of the day, we still have to do our part
right,
because if we rush things, it's only going to make the matters elongated. And
exactly.
by the time everything gets back to normal, I'm going to be like 90.
I know.
It's going to be
Let's hope not.
seriously.
Let's hope not. I'm
I mean,
hoping. I'm,
that's what's happening right now, and I'm telling you. So I know we have your son who's on going to be on the episode with you. I know he's on. Would you like to bring him in right now? We can talk it up on the both of
absolutely.
you. Well, got to ask the lady first, So
Yes.
let
Where
me
are
bring
you,
him in.
Cameron Hubbard? Cameron
We're going to
Jones?
bring him in
Yes.
right now.
Yes.
So Cam, when you're ready, just accept the request, and we're going to split the screen, and we're going to bring you right in right now. So let's see if he pops in. Hopefully.
Yes.
I don't know what he's doing. Hopefully he's I hope your son updated his app.
Ah, I'm
Yeah, 'cause
wondering.
I
He
was
said
telling him
something
that. I'm
about
like,
a new thing or something. Yes.
yeah, because the thing on Instagram is that Instagram's amazing, but if you don't update your app, you can't keep up with the platform. So with Live now, I'm able to bring everybody in, but your app has to be updated so you can actually accept the request.
Okay.
So, which is, it's part of the deal, but it's a great thing. It allows me to, and it
Oh,
allows guests, for example, not to rush and be like, oh, we can't be in there. Well, now
yeah.
you can,
That's the other
which is
good thing
great.
about the pandemic. I've gotten so many new friends and fans through shows like your podcast, and D Nice and Fat Joe, and these different podcasts that I've done interviews on, and have met so many wonderful people. So that's the other upside of the pandemic, is that a lot of us in music have met people that we really probably would not have met. Because of the fact that we've been doing all these podcasts and interviews.
Right. Let me try to do this one more time with them. So yeah, how
Oh, he
was
said, as Cam said, he updated, but it's not working. So
yeah, that's kind of weird. It
yeah.
normally does. It's got to be on the side because my thing works fine. Now tell me about your interview with Fat Joe. I actually just saw that recently, and I was with him during the Fred the Godson street naming. I don't really know him that personally, but how was the interview with him? Because he just seems like he has such a great personality.
He
So,
does, and it's such a sweet, lovable guy. And when he was telling me about how his wife's one of his wife's favorite songs was "Nights Over Egypt," and she turned him on to the song, and that's when he really became acquainted with the Jones Girls. Even though he had heard our music before, but he's just like a big old lovable teddy bear. He was so sweet and easy to interview with.
oh yeah, I could see that too. Because every
Yes.
time I see him out, he just I don't know, he's got a lot of love from a lot of people, and so do you too right now, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Now, what I did want to ask was, there's a lot of things that obviously is not written out there. Have you written a lot of songs for other artists as well that people may not know about that became hits?
Um, we did. We wrote a song on Norman Connors, a great jazz musician, on one of his albums called "Handle Me Gently," which was a single. Both my sisters and I, and our manager at the time, McKinley Jackson, we wrote that song, and then we wrote another song for that was a hit record for R&B group Bloodstone. We wrote a
Right.
song for them years ago. So we've had some successful songs out there that we wrote or co-wrote.
Right. And you also had a song that was covered by Escape, right? It was Who Can I
Who
Run
can I
To?
run to? Yes, we did.
A lot of people don't know that was a cover of your song. And then you had a couple of others. Nights Over Egypt was also covered by Incognito as
Hmm.
well. And then the future, No Time Like the Future by Drexel Wenzel, correct?
Yes, yes.
That's correct. How do you feel when people cover your songs? Do you like it, or would you rather
I,
stay
I
the
love
way
it
you wrote it?
because back in the day when Escape redid our song, it brought us fans that a younger generation of fans that found out that we had done it, and then when they did their unsung story, they gave us our props and let people know that it was a remake. So it brought attention, and everybody wants attention brought back to the group. So I love it when they redo it. But I
Oh
still say
wow.
there's nothing like the original. I love, there's nothing like an original.
And I completely 100% agree with you. And I just want to tell you, son, listen, if you want to send me a request, do so. I could probably accept it for you and bring you in, and we'll try that one more time. Um, Now, you were talking about Cam, and hopefully we'll get him in here. If not, I know he's going to be in the episode, but the song that he's doing is the Jones Connection. Is that
Hmm.
correct? But spelled differently.
That's
And
the song that he and PJ did is Who Can I Run To? It's a hip hop version of Who Can I Run To. The group, their name is Jones Connection. That's spelled phonetically. And
oh, okay.
that's because it's the two of them, Mike Cameron, and then PJ is Valerie's son.
Yeah, I just wanted to get that correct because I'm reading it. I'm like, connection. I like when people put a little spin on the words. But
Yeah,
then a guy like me got to read that stuff and be like,
Jones,
man, I don't do Ebonics. What's up with this? I can't read this at all.
right? But that's the phonetic way to spell connection.
So when you go on tour, are you gonna have possibly his group like open on the tour?
Yes, yeah, and in fact, uh, right before the pandemic, February 21st and 22nd of 2020, we were over there, and Cam performed "Who Can I Run To" uh, during my show. He did. So absolutely, we have plans to do that.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So backtracking, so as you were growing up in the years, um, how old were you ladies when you hit your mark when you became the Jones Girls? Like, were you in your teens?
Yes, we were. We had just finished with Diana, and so in 1979 we were. Yes,
79. Wow.
yes.
So how was the impact on a lot of your friends in high school? Did they look at you differently? Were you finding that people were kind of fake when they found out you started to pop
But
and you
no,
had to really
you know,
recognize that?
most of our friends are still friends to this day. They were always so excited and proud for us and happy. And we had to, my mother being a gospel singer, she was very protective of us. So we had her and the support of, because back in the day, Detroit, our area was like a little, its own little community, a family. So a lot of the people that we grew up with in Detroit are still friends to this day, 50 years later.
Oh, I believe that, and that's great to hear because it seems most people, I mean, the closest friends that they have is probably like two or three people, maybe,
Oh,
even
yeah.
with family. Family's the same way, which is pretty crazy now. I know you're from Detroit, like we were saying. Do you find yourself going back there a lot, or Philadelphia, or
We
is
do.
there something?
I do not. I go to Detroit at least 4 or 5 times a year to
Oh
get
wow,
back because I still have a lot of relatives and friends there. Philadelphia, not so much. I haven't gone back there. Oh, it's been at least a couple of years. But with social media, I keep up with everybody via Instagram or Twitter so that's the way to keep up with people now.
yeah. And I wanted to ask you that too. I mean, I see it with comedy. You guys are trying to do comedy shows online, and to me, I understand they just want to do it, but it doesn't really make sense to me because comedy is one of those things that you have to have people in front of your face. right? You have to have people laughing so you can join the laughter. How do you feel about performing online to people too? Because they try to do that global citizen, and I got it.
Right.
But it was just, I get what they
Wasn't
were
this?
trying to do, but me personally, I
Yeah.
just thought it was horrible.
Yeah, I want to get back out there to live audiences. It's yeah, the feel with people not there, applauding or reacting to what you're putting out there is just so different when it's like the Instagram, things and the Facebook Live performances. I've done one or two, but I'm more ready to just everybody get masked up, get your shot so we could get back out there and feel with each other and love on each other.
Exactly. Exactly, 100%. Now, with the growing age in technology, what's your opinion on? It seems everybody's dropping EPs and singles today, and it doesn't seem like albums are coming out anymore. And me personally, I'm an old school guy. I'm 47, but I miss a good album, right? Where you put the album in, it's like 12 songs of the same artist, but
Right.
all different. How do you feel about that? That everything today is about downloads and just songs, and they last for a couple of months, and then they're all. Do you miss the days of putting out a great album?
Do I? And reading the liner notes and all of that, absolutely. And in fact, I'm working on a tribute album, which it will be 10 to 12 songs to my sisters called In Loving Memory, which I was doing a lot of work on, and I'm ready now to go back in the studio to finish it with the pandemic, so I'm about a year behind. But I plan to finish that, and I'm going to release it on vinyl first because vinyl is huge again in Europe. And I notice a lot of our old albums, they're coming back. Vinyl's really coming back here in the States too. And there's nothing like that quality, the sound
Yes.
of a vinyl record. So this album, In Loving Memory, which I'm hoping to have out the beginning of next year, which is my tribute to my two sisters. It's going to be released on vinyl first.
Yeah, and I love vinyl, and I co-sign with that because I'm friends with a lot of DJs, and they love spinning vinyl. They
Yeah.
just love it. They love the sound. There's something about when you play a Nat King Cole album on vinyl,
Or
and you just
uh,
hear the
yes,
sound,
I just got a
and
Caravan album that I was listening to right before I came here. I mean, just when you listen to that quality and you put that needle down, and then you can read the who the musicians were and all of that. You miss that. 'Cause on a download, you just getting the name of the person's name, and then you're not able to the other people that were involved, the musicians that were involved in the
mhm.
particular song.
Yeah, and I love that. And I mean, I would love to get a Jones Girl vinyl, but unfortunately, I have to go out and find.
Yes.
I gotta find myself a thing that can play it, a
Right.
radio player, and it seems like nobody out there is selling them anymore. I'm sure there is. I just gotta
Oh
look
yeah,
for it.
they are. They're definitely selling them because I just got a couple that some friends sent me from London.
Oh, really?
Yes, they're
Oh, wow.
very very big. They cost a lot. I think the Jones Girls album that they sent me, the Keep It Coming album, was $80. But hey, they got it for me because I just got a new vinyl player, record player, and I'm loving it. I'm having so much fun with the 45s and the album.
45s. Now you're
Yes,
going even further back. Oh
right.
my God. Remember the 45s are like that big, and
That
a lot of
big,
times
and
they
you
have
have to put the
one
little
song
thing
on
on.
one side and
Right.
then one song on the
On the
other.
other, yes.
And then if you scratch it up, you're so pissed because it's like, man, I scratched up the song I like. Now I got to listen to the other side. This stinks, man.
Right.
You can't do anything about it. Yeah, I miss those days of doing all that. And you know what was cool is you were able to make like a mural of vinyl records all on your walls. People come in and see all your music with the
Yes.
CDs and the tapes, and it was used as decor, right?
Yeah.
Posters. It's like everything today is modern, and I like modern, but I don't know. It's just something about walking into somebody's home and just it's the first thing you go to when you see a vinyl wall and
Right.
you
Oh,
want to see
yes.
what their taste is. You can get to know somebody in 5 minutes by their music.
Yes, you can. Absolutely.
That's why every time I had a date come over, you know I had the R&B section just in front, just like
Right.
open up. They're like, what's
Earth,
this
Wind,
time?
and Fire and Stevie Wonder. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes, yes, you're killing me right now. Now you've taken me back. And I will admit, I did not have a Jones album. I'm so sorry. Like, I'll admit that, but I did listen to the music. I'm such an idiot. I
Right.
really am.
Well,
And
it's
I have to
never too
get,
late because they're out there. I'm telling you, there's
no,
nothing like a record player.
listen, I've been listening to I'm in Love with the Man. I think I've listened to it like 25 times already. You ladies are out there just like, I love the part when in the beginning when you're just talking and you're like, let me tell you something, girl. And you're like,
Yeah.
tell me. And you had that voice for it, and I'm just like, yeah, tell her, girl, tell her.
Right. My sister, they were always in my business. I put it that way back in the day.
Yeah.
And for us to put that down on record, that was a fun song for us to record.
Oh yeah, you pretty much built a scene on stage, and it's cool to do stuff like that because you're engaging the crowd, and
Yes.
you're doing a little acting thing, and then you're singing, and then people like doing their head cracking, like, all
And
right,
telling them, yeah, now I don't care what you say. I love that man. So just leave me alone. Leave me alone.
exactly. That's right, ladies. Anyway, out of all the things that you perform,
Mhm.
what was your most memorable place to perform and why?
The most memorable for me was probably our very first performance with Diana, which happened to be in London. At I believe it was, oh, I can't think of Victoria Hall in London,
Yeah.
and probably because it was our very first performance with her, and to actually be singing, sitting back there and actually using our voices and watching this amazing woman who we grew up loving. I mean, the Supremes were who my sisters and I always wanted to emulate. And then to actually fast forward as young teenagers, to have that opportunity to actually work with her and to just sit there and watch how she worked. I think it was so amazing to me because in the 3 years after that, we learned so much from watching her perform, because to this day I still say she's one of the greatest entertainers, um, not performers. She just brings you into her concerts, and that's one of the things I learned, and that's what I try to do with my audiences: really bring them in to what I'm giving out.
That's awesome. Giving out, are we gonna get any news about you ladies possibly getting inducted into the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, we are being into the Detroit Rhythm and Blues Hall of Fame this year, actually, in June.
Really?
Yes, and every time I turn around, because there's been a whole new resurgence of people finding out about the Jones Girls.
About the Jones Girls?
Yeah,
Yeah. And it's just, it's a shame too. It's like there's so many amazing groups like the Jones Girls that's out there. And I was telling this to Andy Stone, it has to do with your publicist. Like you really need a kick-ass publicist to constantly keep you on technology because before you didn't have to worry about that,
right,
right? Because the internet, once you're popular, people actually went to read about stuff. They went to go look for it.
right,
And now that everything's at the palm of your hands, a lot of great artists, and it's nobody's fault. It's just the times that we live in are not being forgotten, but not being thought about as much as they were before the internet. Do you see
right.
that happening with a
Yes,
lot of artists?
I do. Yes.
Yeah, and it's a shame.
Yep.
And I'm trying to get more of these millennials to start doing their history because some of the songs, like even from the Jones Girls and Sequence and all these other great groups, they were remastered and used in like 5 or 6 songs. And they
Yeah,
should definitely do their research, because when you discover the original songs, you may want to listen to it and be like, oh wow, this is good.
right.
Like, yeah, wake up. It's
Yes.
really good. It's really good. So,
Yes.
um, with your family taking you into a new legacy, are you loving the fact you talked about it a little bit before, but are you loving the traditions that your family's carrying on the legacy of the Jones Girls in
I
the
do.
new
I do.
music?
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So that once I'm gone, our music will still be going on. Both of my
Okay.
sisters have made their transition, but with this resurgence and with Cam and PJ, it'll continue on. And that's what I want, because it's our music is all about love and unity and just peaceful music that just takes you to a space of beauty and love and togetherness.
Right.
And we
Well,
need more of that now.
yeah, we need a lot more of it. When you just found out I do the Peace concert, I'm actually, and I say this a lot on the shows because I'm proud of it. I'm also a civil rights activist now, becoming a leader. Ben Crump's actually a friend of mine,
Okay.
and I agree with you 100% that we need a lot more love. We need a lot more peace. We need a lot more happiness.
Yeah.
And speaking of happiness, do you feel, in the words of Bob Marley, that music is love? Do you feel that music has really brought your family together in such a great environment, and that it's been a stronghold on your family throughout the decades?
Yes, it has been. It has been. And, even with our cousins and first cousins, love, the music, has brought us even together. So, yes.
I love to hear that. And I'll be honest with you, I'm looking forward to possibly meeting you one day.
Same
Hopefully, if
here.
you're here in New
Hopefully,
York.
hopefully we'll be coming to New York to perform, because I mean, I'm ready. I'm just so ready for us to get back to these live performances.
Yeah, me too. And I just can't wait to literally just get back to it and start engaging with people again and listening to live performances, like you said, and being able to dance. I mean, I'm dancing in my pajamas every day. That's all I do. I'm rocking in my pajamas. I'm doing my thing.
Oh, this thing just flew in here in this room.
What flew in?
Something from the beach.
It's
Yeah.
probably a bird flying in like, yo man, is that FaceTime with Todd Wharton? I heard about that show. Let me fly in here and check
Yeah.
this out.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We're about done. That might be the cue right there.
Yeah.
Um, so
I'm
is there anything that you would like to leave your fans and everything, a little inspirational words with music or anything that you live by that people can go by?
I live by love. And that's one thing just, and it's simple. Just love each other. Get to know people that are different from you and learn to love them. And because we are one.
Well, you got to say that one more time because your internet's going out.
It is. And I'm
Yeah,
surprised too. We're all one. And love, we've got to learn to love one another and get to know people that are just different from you, because you'll see that we have so many more things in common than we do differences. So
100%.
just spread love.
100%. And you know what? It's great to be different, but we're at the end of the day, we're all the same, because different only means unique. That's all it means. It just means you're
Yes.
unique in your own character, you're unique in your own skin, your gender, your nationality.
Right.
Nobody wants to live in Pleasantville. I want to live in a world where there are different races, there are different nationalities, different
Exactly.
types, you know,
Exactly.
different sexual preferences. I mean, I love women to death, but I got nothing against people that love women on women, men and men, and the whole nine, because at the end of the day, it's a choice and it doesn't change who the person is. And
Right.
that's what I tell people all the time. You know, get to know somebody before you judge them on the outside, because you may realize that their inside is just as beautiful as the
As
outside
the
that you
out,
can
that's for
see.
sure. That's for sure.
That's right. That's right. So, Shirley, I really thank you for being on FaceTime with Todd Wharton.
It was my
Truly,
pleasure,
truly a
Tony, and
pleasure.
I'm sorry Cam couldn't get in. I'm sure he's going to be calling me very shortly.
Oh, I'll call him in a little while.
Yes.
This interview will be available to people in about 5 minutes. I'm really good with this. I'll put it up. And if you guys don't know, please follow this lovely lady right here at Shirley Jones
Shirley
Official
Jones
on
of the Jones
Instagram.
Girls on Instagram, Facebook, and the website is shirleyjonesgirl.com.
That's right. And you can
Love and
follow me,
peace. Take
love and
care.
peace always. And you can follow me at Todd Wharton Official. I
All
interview
right.
celebrities 5 days a week. Tomorrow night, to give you an idea, we have a legend coming in again. We have Sadat X from Brand Nubian, who's going to be here tomorrow night. And
Oh,
definitely check out the interviews of this past week. I just had the great John Amos from Jamaica on last night. And guys, as I always tell people, please practice social distancing, whether you believe in it or not. Wear your
exactly.
mask, because at the end of the day, every person deserves to live a fruitful life, and nobody has the right to play God. So let's just
Exactly.
be human to each other. And Shirley, and all
Yes.
my virtual fans out there, if you're not living a passionate life, then whose life are you living? I'll see
Exactly.
you tomorrow night.
Thank you
Thank you,
so much,
Shirley.
Tony.
You
Bye
got it.
bye.
Bye.